Back for another round of Chris is going to finish this thing up because it should have been done a long time ago. Sorry for the crappy audio right there. That was literally snot in my throat. I'm sure you're very excited about that. So anyway, we're going to finish this thing up.
I know that one day we'll find it. Bang, connection. That was an awful Kermit. But like managing a bunch of personalities and having to put on regular shows, like I feel that Kermit. Uh, I'll go with Kermit. I'll go with Kermit.
I appreciate that you are also going specifically Muppet Show Kermit as opposed to movie Kermit.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I grew up with the movies a lot more. Great Muppet Caper and the Muppet movie specifically because Muppets Take Manhattan didn't age well, and it is also to blame for the Muppet Babies.
Are you saying you didn't like Muppet Babies?
I don't have the nostalgia for it.
How old are you again?
32 at the time of this recording.
For context, I'm 36. I realize nostalgia is a funny thing, but I do have nostalgia for Muppet Babies, and Luke is a crazy person.
I don't have the nostalgia for it.
How old are you again?
32 at the time of this recording.
I'm gonna take that out anyway. That was honestly me being curious because I have been 36 for a couple weeks now, and I'm gonna take that out anyway. That was honestly. I actually don't feel like taking that out. I am a horrible, horrible person for telling Luke I would take that out, but doesn't matter, and he has said it on other places, and he is rather upfront with me when he wants things taken out.
At the time of this recording.
That was honestly me being curious because I have been 36 for a couple weeks now, and Muppet Babies, heck yeah.
I think that it's a big nostalgia thing. I also understand that, like, animation wise, it blew a lot of shows out of the way. Like, there's that really good Defunct Land TV documentary series on the Muppets, and like learning about how important that was kind of wild. I mean, how big it was, but yeah,
Defunct
it doesn't
Land.
have red eyes, black dragon.
That is true.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so realizing I had the Facebook chat, what the heck just happened there?
Yeah,
That's the joys of being able to jump back to where I was. So we can chop this here. I don't know if I've said this lately, but I overlap things to try to make it um, not seem like I cut things a lot of times. That's also why I have the backing music, although the backing music is also there because of one person where I couldn't get rid of some background noise without getting rid of their actual words. So the backing music went in, and you're not hearing that right now, so that's why you don't hear it right now. I get it going when I start, edit for a little bit with it in there, just to make sure levels are good, and then I just don't listen to it for the rest of the episode as I'm editing.
I mean, how big it was, but it doesn't have red eyes, black dragon.
That is true. We're gonna have some fun here.
Red eyes, black dragon.
That is true. Okay, so Luke goes there. That is true.
Past and future versions of all the characters. So you've got like Seto and Priest Seto and Anzu and whatever her historic counterpart with Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Duel Stories has. And you also should remember that
Blah, blah, blah. I lost my spot at Yu-Gi-Oh!
They have to follow the of but I also understand that like it was kind of wild. I mean, how big it was, but it
That is true.
dragon,
That is true.
red eyes, black dragon, red eyes, black dragon, red eyes, black dragon.
We're going to hear Luke say that a lot because I have some ideas. And my ideas are dumb. But this is also why I set up the screen capture here and not the window capture, because the screen capture will actually show you plugins.
Red eyes, black dragon, 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 red eyes, black dragon. Red eyes, black dragon. Red eyes, black dragon. Red eyes, black dragon. Red eyes, black dragon.
So, what I'm thinking here is that I want to have a little bit of fun with him saying this.
Red eyes, black dragon. 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 Red eyes, black dragon.
So, just let's see how that goes.
It doesn't have red eyes, black dragon.
That is true. I'm happy with that. Well, Luke, it has been great learning from you and hearing from you again. If people want to hear more from you, where else can they find you around the internet? From you again. If people want to hear more from you, where else can they find you around the internet?
So I am reaching the point where I am ending more of the podcasts that I've been doing just because
Crutch words are a pain in the butt. I learned that from SP at Better Podcasting. Sometimes when people say them, I will leave them in. A lot of times I wish I could take them out, but they kind of roll into another word. You know, when you do so and this, your O rolls right into your A. You can't really take that out. Luke left a big enough space here to where I can take out him saying so. We can go like this. Or from you, where else can they find you around the internet?
I am reaching the point where I am ending more of the podcasts that I've been doing just because, you know, everything can end at some point. Why
Well, Luke, it has been. Why do I lose my spot? All right. And waveform, being a non destructive editor, means I can get rid of that stuff that I technically cut out for a second. So instead of Luke's weird pauses, we can go have it sound more like this. Can they find you around the internet?
I am reaching the point where I am ending more of podcasts that I've been doing just because everything can end at some point. Why keep it going? So, RPG House Club is still going, but we're going to be ending with episode 100, which is going to be in like 4 months. And you can find that at rpgpals.club. Established Property Playhouse, which you can find at Established Property.
Take that part out.
Club. Established Property Playhouse, which you can find at establishedpropertyplayhouse.com, recently wrapped up the Ravnica miniseries arc. And that is my RPG actual play series where it's different established properties, limited numbers of episodes. That way we can make the story stick. And I try and also make them approachable if you're not familiar with the franchise. We started off with a kid-friendly Pokemon series and then moved on to a Fallout series set in my hometown of Columbus, Ohio, and then we just recently completed a Ravnica one based on the Magic the Gathering setting. The only other regular show that I'm
Pauses are good, but when you can have the pauses with complete silence instead of random noise, that's always better. Although I think this is going to be a little weird here. Yeah, we're going to cut this one a little tighter. Love being able to zoom in that much.
Setting. The only other regular show that I'm doing right now is my newest podcast, which is Domance Dawn, which is a Simpsons and One Piece mashup podcast. Chris, you came on for an episode.
That one is so much fun. And I don't know if I've told you this. I am making either the best or worst decision ever now. And by the time this episode comes out, this will have already started. But as we're now, and by the time this episode comes out, this will have already started. But as we're recording this in the future, my wife has agreed to start watching One Piece with me from the beginning because she's heard from other people that it's good. And we are running out of shows that we're watching together anyway, so why not add something that has like 3,000 episodes? So, of course, after I decide that, after I get Kaylee to agree that we should watch One Piece because we need to give it a try, one of my friends tells us about Laid Back Camp. And so when we are, there's the crunch words again. When we are eating dinner, ready to watch some things, and it really just kind of comes down to what kind of day have we had? Because sometimes, excuse me, sometimes we can deal with story and plot and things carrying over into the next episode and everything. And sometimes we just can't. And on those days where it's we just can't, we watch Laid Back Camp because everybody there is just a giant doofus in all of the best ways, and we love them all so much. And Kaylee is Ren, and I am Matashinko, and watch the show. and you will completely understand.
It only has like just over 1,000 episodes.
I was joking. I did not think I was going to be that close.
I mean, you went 3 times over, but yeah.
In the cosmic scale,
Yeah,
that's not bad.
No, and One Piece is something where there are many places that you can.
Bad.
No, and one.
Let's take Luke out there because he doesn't actually need to be saying that in the context of everything.
No, and One Piece is something where there are many places that you can just kind of say, okay, I've had enough, and drop off. And there's definitely some rough points in there, but Domance Dawn still going early. At the start of every new arc, we'll have a guest on, and at the end, we're kind of like, hey, do you want to keep watching? And I think most of the guests have said, yeah, they will keep watching. So, or they will go back to the beginning and start watching. So, you can find that at Domance Dawn, DOHMANCEDAWN. That is with me and my friend Janine. I've seen I've seen a large portion of One Piece, and I've read the entire manga. I've seen a large portion of One Piece, and I've read. And my friend Janine. I've seen.
Alright, so we don't need Luke repeating himself. We're definitely going to take that out because that's the beginning of his I have seen first take.
I've seen a large portion of One Piece, and I've read the entire.
That should be good there.
That is with me and my friend Janine. I've seen a large portion of One Piece, and I've read the entire manga twice. Ish. I mean, I've read to the end, and I've read the entire manga twice.
I like to cut the empty spots as well as what I'm actually cutting just to keep everything cleaner. It makes it easier for me to keep up with keeping everything lined up. Especially on something right here where I want him to say twice-ish instead of twice-ish.
The entire manga twice ish. I mean, I've read to the entire manga twice ish. I mean,
That's good
I've
enough.
read to the end 3 times technically, but the first time only went as far as Info Down, yada yada yada. One Piece. Yeah, it's fun. We go and fan cast every One Piece character with a name and a birthday as a Simpsons character, and they have to be contemporary Simpsons characters. So that's kind of the hook of the show. It's part recap and then majority overly serious but fun conversations on casting. And then majority overly serious part recap and then majority overly part recap and then part
Super zoom. So this is the fun part right here. We need to get this here, but then we need to drag all of this because all of this needs to go over this way. Let's see what we got.
Part recap, and then majority overly serious but fun conversations on.
Okay, so obviously I'm not going to keep this cut. Sorry, I had to stretch my back out a little bit. I'm not going to keep this cut right here in the middle of the words that Luke is saying, which is why I'm happy, again, that this is a non-destructive editor. So we're going to drag this closed. We're going to drag this back so that we catch what Luke is saying. And then pop it in like this.
Simpsons character, and they have to be contemporary Simpsons characters, so that's kind of the hook of the show. It's part recap, and then majority overly serious but fun conversations on casting. At the time of this, we just had our 15th episode go up, and it is wild. Our guest got 7 names added to the list. Yes. But yeah, that's most of my stuff. You can also just find me on Twitter at Koltreg. That's KOLTREG, and I'm also doing some comics projects. And I have a.
At the time of recording this, Twitter was its previously normal amount of a dumpster fire and not the November 6th, 2022 version of it as a dumpster fire. So if people say they're on Twitter, I'm going to leave it in there. It is up to them to do something afterwards. I am not going to be leaving Twitter just because that is where so much of the vast majority of a lot of my guests have come from, one way or another. But yeah.
And me on Twitter at Koltreg. That's KOLTREG, and I'm also doing some comics projects. And I have a Patreon where you can go and support what I do. That's under my name, Luke Herr, LUKEHERR, and I also have a website, lukeherr.com. Chris, where can people find the best fish and sandwich?
We are going to get to an answer to that question in a second. And we are going to cut this back a little bit. Luke likes to ask questions. One of the things that Luke does on Domain's Dawn is he has a personalized question for everybody, kind of like. Excuse me. This is how you can tell I'm not going to edit these because you're going to see all the yawns. Luke has a personalized question for everybody, kind of like how I have my Who's Your Favorite Muppet question. He has one that is definitely pertinent to every single person that comes on the show. So I am trying to figure a way to do that for the show when I have people on. Because I'm having more and more people on here who have been on already and have already been asked about their favorite Muppet, and I can't ask them about their favorite Muppet every time because presumably your favorite Muppet is going to be the same, although I am proof that that isn't always true.
And I also have a website, lukeherr.com. Chris, where can people find the best fish and sandwich?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Where can people find the best fish sandwich?
I would think. He completely caught me off guard because he also usually asks those questions at the beginning. Actually, no. I like this one better. This is great in a lot of ways. Gosh, I lost my spot again.
names added to the list. Yes.
At one point, I knew half the bartenders, so I could call them. There we go.
Yes.
So, we are going to cut out the first time he asked. We are going to cut out where I said, "Hey, Luke, what the heck did you just ask me?" We are going to cut out this little bit here because not only do I not like the space there, I don't like how I was in there making a noise, and I don't like how that's pretty much just it. I don't like how I was making a noise. And once I kind of got it in my head, oh, this is what he's asking, there really was no question about the answer. Sounds something like this.
The website, lukehair.com. Chris, where can people find the best fish sandwich?
I would think, I don't know if it's the best, but my favorite one, because of nostalgia reasons, is a tuna burger at a place here in Charleston. And that's mostly because at one point I knew half the bartenders, so I could call them while the kitchen was still open and say, "Hey, save me a tuna burger." And I could get over there 3 hours later. And they would have it for me sitting in the fridge behind the bar, and I would get an actual meal hours after the kitchen closed.
Nice.
Also, for anybody wondering, the correct way to cook a tuna burger is when you have just a giant slab of tuna for your burger and not somebody taking like tuna salad and squishing it into the shape of a burger patty. You sear it, and then you flip it over and you sear it, and then it's done. Because if it's good tuna, which it should be, that's all it needs. Get a little bit of a sear, a little bit of a sear, done. Full meal hours after the kitchen closed.
Nice. And Chris, who put the bop in the bop shabop shabop?
The same guy that put the ram in the ram-a-lam and ding dong.
Mm-hmm.
I use some NVIDIA, hey, let's get rid of background noise that shouldn't be there. And I've previously had it cranked up pretty high to take care of some fans. So sometimes when I come in not loud enough, it decides that I'm not talking. So we can take out that little bit where, oh wait, I need to get rid of that part from Luke as well. We can take out that little bit where it wasn't even gone, and it can just sound more like this one. And I swear Luke did not have this question fed to me beforehand.
And Chris, who put the bop in the bop shabop shabop?
The same guy that put the ram in the ram-a-lam and ding dong.
Mm-hmm. And Chris, where can people find you online and find more out about the Play Comics podcast?
As longtime listeners of the show know, this is something that I usually take care of myself, but I think Luke got himself into host mode, or Luke was trying to be silly, or I actually don't care, because Luke is always a great guest. So he's going to ask, I'm going to roll with it, I'm going to leave it in there. Because that's really one of the first things I start with on my outro anyway.
Where can people find you online and find more out about the Play Comics podcast?
Mostly, people can find me over on Twitter at PlayComicsCast.
Oh God,
this is going to age so horribly. Sharing stupid comics or video game opinions, sometimes fun video games and comic opinions, and way more often than I should, but this is the way the world is right now, looks at the world and pressing buttons that are vaguely political, because that kind of thing needs to happen right now. more so than ever because we have the medium to do it. And if you can't try to make the world a better place, then I don't know what
You
to do with
truly
you.
will be. You truly will be sent to the Shadow Realm.
Saying Luke is saying that because I had a pause, and then he says the same thing anyway. Make the world a better place, then I don't know what to do with you.
You truly will be sent to the Shadow Realm.
Future Chris, if you don't edit that to sound better, like with Luke cutting you off, then you can't be your own friend anymore. Well, I guess I have to do that now. All right. Fun thing you can do is I can go these into different tracks. Try to make the world a better place, then okay, so right after that then is what we're going to take out. Okay, so we're going to take this out right here. That is going to make a much cleaner cut. It's up. Sorry, my track is going to get ridiculously small, but that's only so I can actually, let's get rid of Luke here too, because I want to make sure there's no overlap that's unnecessary there. And then we're going to get real tight on this. We can take this in a little bit. As I trail, Luke will get this, and then we can back everything where it should be. And then we can cut this here. And let's have some fun with effects again. Oh man, I wish I hadn't have done that earlier with the Black Eyes Red Dragon. So that is our new selection. This is our new looping.
The Shadow Realm.
And
You truly will be sent to the Shadow Realm.
and
You truly will be sent to the Shadow Realm.
and
You truly will be sent to the Shadow Realm.
all right, so how do we make this demonic? Because we want to make this demonic. The Shadow Realm. I could just record it myself and say it right there. The Shadow Realm. How far down can I pitch this to make it work? And
You truly will be sent to.
oh, not that far.
You truly will be sent to.
And
You truly will be sent to the Shadow Realm.
and
You truly will be sent to the Shadow Realm.
and
You truly will be sent to the Shadow Realm.
and
You truly will.
okay, so I have never before, I swear, ever gone and recorded me saying something that somebody else said before, but I feel like this is a wonderful time to do it. We need a little bit of Dr. Claw, and my Dr. Claw is pretty decent. So, get some water, and then we're going to do this. And
You truly will be sent to
the Shadow Realm. And
you truly will be.
see how this goes. And
You truly will be sent to
the Shadow Realm. And
you truly will be sent to.
this point, let's see if we can drop this a little bit.
you truly will be sent to
the Shadow Realm,
and you truly will be sent to
the Shadow Realm,
and you truly will be sent to
the Shadow Realm,
and you truly will be sent to
the Shadow Realm,
and you truly will be sent to
the Shadow Realm,
and you truly will be sent to
the Shadow Realm,
and you truly will be sent to
the Shadow Realm,
and you truly will be sent to and you truly will be sent to
the Shadow Realm,
and you truly will be sent to
the Shadow Realm,
and you truly will be sent to
the Shadow Realm,
and you truly will be sent to
the Shadow Realm,
and you truly will be sent to
the Shadow Realm,
and you truly will be sent to
the Shadow Realm,
and you truly will be sent to
the Shadow Realm,
and you truly will be sent to
the Shadow Realm,
and you truly will be sent to
the Shadow Realm,
Place, then
and you truly will be sent to
the Shadow Realm,
future Chris, if you don't edit that to sound better, like with Luke cutting you off, then you can't be your own friend anymore. And that's gonna get saved for the outtakes. Just gonna pop that right there.
all right. So Cardcaptor Sakura was a manga that started, and it doesn't have any games. But let's just talk. Yeah, I don't know if you have anything else that you need to do to wrap this thing up.
Yeah, I do it all in post anyway. Ooh, that's not what I wanted to have happen. All right, so we're gonna save that for the outtakes as well. This is all crap. Okay. Now, for I think the first time ever, I need to record all my outro stuff. So I have this. I don't even remember what this outtake is, but it's a pretty far enough away spot where I should be okay. Yeah, that's. It's like 5 minutes, 4 minutes of outro stuff. It's not usually how long it takes. So earlier, you may have noticed, and if you didn't notice, then you can be told now that it's a thing you can't go back and notice. I opened up a window on top of this, which was horrible of me because I did not think that Obsidian, my note taking thing, is going to open on top of this screen. When, excuse me, when, as far as I can remember, the last time I opened it, it was on a different screen, and I was opening it on a different screen. So I just have that open, so I have my outro stuff. So that's what I'm over here looking at this, definitely not at the camera thing. And we're going to record the outro because that's just a thing I should do. $64-ounce bottle of water from Aldi, if I remember right. I might be wrong on the size. It doesn't say. It's a lot of water. Also, the water didn't come from Aldi. That came from my kitchen sink. We're going to have to hear me saying the Shadow Realm one more time because I always record my outro back starting on stuff so that it's picking up any kind of things. I also have a fan on here. Cute little baby fan that the background doesn't like going. If anybody heard that. But I didn't see the things going on the volume meter here. I don't really care. I'm going to turn it off anyway. So for my outro, I have this all noted out. I have where to find the guest. I have where to find me. I've already done those. But I'm going to do it again now because Twitter is a dumpster fire with a grease fire getting thrown on top of it.
Set 2.
The Shadow Realm.
Already heard where you can find me, but just in case, playcomics.com is always going to be the best spot to do that. No matter what happens with the Twitter dumpster fire, I will always have a link to something, whatever my most current things are, on playcomics.com. If you want to help support the show, that is also the best place to go to do that, because we all know that Patreon likes to shoot themselves in the foot as well. But there's a Patreon that exists, playcomics.com/Patreon. Or you can just take the show and shove it into your friends' ear holes with their consent, because you don't really want to shove things into people's ears without them knowing. That's kind of rude, and you should definitely not do that. Play Comics is a part of the Gonna Geek Network, where a lot of times I get to be on Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I don't have to edit, and sometimes I watch the thing right before we record. That's a lie. I don't really do that. If you like the music that we're rudely talking on top of right now, head on over to soundcloud.com/best-day to check out Best Day's music. But most of all, just grab a game, grab a stack of comics, and go find yourself a new favorite character. I cannot remember the last time I got through that in one take. Gonna check it to make sure that the recording is good, because I've had a little bit of an issue lately with audio being kind of garbled. Likes to shoot themselves in the foot as well. But there's a Patreon that exists, playcomics.com/Patreon. It's not doing it this time, which is good, because I didn't bother to check before I started doing this. I don't think. Alright, so now that all of the editing is done, we need to add the outro music, which I have in a nice little folder. This is not going to be where it lives, because that's where the backing track lives. But I want to see. This gap right here is what needs to line up with the end. Because I'm just a giant dork, and I know that. So let's see how good I am before we record. That's a lie. I don't really do that. If you like the music that we're rudely talking on top of right now, head on over to soundcloud.com/best-day to check out Best Day's music. But most of all, just grab a game, grab a stack of comics, and go find yourself a new favorite character. Yup. Knowing that's kind of rude, and you should definitely not do that. Play Comics is a part of the Gonna Geek. Okay, so even though we haven't been able to hear the backing track, we do need to understand that it still exists. So I'm going to take this. The way I do my backing track, in case this is the first time you've seen me doing anything with this here, is that I have my levels here set at 0. Like you. Because that way I don't have to remember what level I'm at for anything when I go in and out and in and out for various things that I go in and out for. Instead, go ahead and open this up so you guys can see it, because this is, I think, the first time I've had a chance to show it. I have Brake Tweaker by Isotope, which is something that they are retiring pretty soon. I enjoy it. I like having it. It's basically just a drum sequencer type thing. But it also comes with a bunch of stuff built in, which is what I use mostly for my backing tracks. And, we'll see if I continue to use it, but I've definitely gotten my money's worth out of it. But I set the gain from this knob here, and I control the volume from here. And then that way it doesn't change because it's set in the plugin here, and I know everything is either 0 or negative 5,000, whatever bottom number it is, that isn't audible to the human ear. Then at this point, we don't need the episode bed to be loud for anything. So, how far away are all of these outtakes? Let's see what we got. Outtakes live right here after the outro music. Let's see what we've got here. There.
And can you add like a echo thing so when I say Battle City, it will be like Battle City, Battle City, Battle City. You'll pay for the entire deck, but you'll only need 40 cards. You don't actually need to do that. Oh, we have fun here on this show.
You know I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna cut out you asking me to do it, though. It's just gonna happen. I don't know if I have just a tone noise. I do have some static, though. I have way too many sound effects for all the stuff I do not do with them. Folders, 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 folders. Here we go. We're not going to use all this static. I just want a little bit in between stuff. So chop this into 3. How loud is this? Do it, though. It's just gonna happen. No. No. Wow. Too loud. Happen. Still a little too loud. Once I get this set, though, it'll be set for the other one. Yes, that was about to be really bad. Set it at a positive, lots, big number. Gonna happen. So we're gonna call this negative 35. I think that'll work, which means we can set both of these right here at a negative 35 and know that they're done. Then we can grab this one down here. And how long is this one? Doesn't have a duration. It's like a second. So we're going to take this one. Cool. Grab this little bit. And we're going to drag this over here. And boop, boop, boop. And then this little bit of static is like 2 seconds long. So just to mess with people a little bit, we're going to make this fade out. Except we're going to make it fade out with do. We're going to make it fade out with this shape. So it's like this. I do it all in post anyway. Why did that go big? Probably.
We wrap this thing up.
Yeah, I do it all in post anyway. Cool. So that's it. That is basically it. The episode is done. I still need to make the episode art. You know what? I am going to here. I'm gonna make this thing. This is 148 clips for this. This is why it's taken me way too long. So we're gonna render this to a file. And I don't want it as a wave. I was doing that for something else. We want this as an MP3 because this is what's going to get uploaded. This is being exported, so we already know it's going to go into the right folder because that's just the way the traction works. And I find it because this, I put final here. Let's mess with the MP3 tag information. I make this, so it's me. This is Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories, Dark Duel Stories, spelled correctly. The album is Always Play Comics. This is 2022. This is track number. Actually, what track number is this? Excuse me while I look on a different screen that you can't see. Because I have to see. I don't know what episode number this is, and that's not good. Although normally it's because I've had my episode art made already. I'm usually doing it as I do this. So this is going to be episode 131, so it is track number 131. And down here in the comments, I will put the link to the post because it won't really matter. I actually haven't started doing that yet at all either. Because I am a horrible person like that. No, just because I knew this one was going to take a little bit more. Yeah. Excuse me as I do some stuff on a different screen. One day, I will go through and do a little bit of a video on how I do the episode post or something. But that is a video for another time. Although that other time, well, no, it's not going to be now because I don't feel like doing it right now. Mostly because I've already started. And then we tell this thing to render. And then we wait for a long, long time. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. We are going to bring Firefox over here. And oh no, you're about to see programs that I have installed. We're going to bring the art. I use Affinity. I have Affinity Publisher because I've had to do a few things with that. I have the Vector one. I think it's Illustrator. And Affinity Photo, though, is what I use for all of this. So let me kind of, as Affinity is loading, let me show you kind of what goes on with this. I'm actually going to start a new video for this in case anybody wants to see that and just that. So let's stop this. And in all reality, I'm going to be right back.